new development actually that we've just recently added to Youzone, which I'm quite excited about. So it's going to be interesting to show you. I'm quite excited to show you this. And then we'll wrap everything up with questions at the end. So I hope that sounds like a nice breakdown of what we'll be covering for the next about 40 minutes, I'd say. As we go along, of course, I hope everyone can hear me properly. So basically, if you've got any audio problems, please just leave a message in the questions box. We've got Magnus, who's going to be helping me out. So Magnus is basically going to be taking any questions that you might have. So if you do have any questions or you have any problems with the audio, just kind of pop those into the question box, and Magnus will get back to you, and we can try and sort it out basically, and we'll work from there. So there you go. I hope that's giving you a quick rundown. Let's get started. So we can, like I said before, and if anyone was reading the article I published last week, I gave a really kind of in-depth overview about how to use videos to grow your business. And one of the really successful companies has been Dropbox, who really nailed it, who kind of basically they used a nice explainer video to help increase conversions for their business. And because it's just of the scale of the business, the size of the business, and the number of people that were hitting the website, a very like it was a 2-3% increase in the conversion rate, which was the direct result of having a nice explainer video on the website, kind of resulted in this huge increase in conversions. Well, resulted in increased conversions, but a huge increase in profits. And this was really a nice case study of a big company that successfully used a very simple video to actually grow their business. And this is kind of a nice starting point. And as we go into it, let me just go over some of the basic things that you should really be thinking about if you're going to be using video for your own business in whatever kind of way that you're going to be doing it. I mean, a few of the key points to really think about, and we'll go through the basics here, and then I want to talk a bit about what kind of program you end up using for your video. And in relation to this, I'm talking about, are you going to be putting your video up on YouTube, how to go about promoting it, and what's the best kind of place to promote it. But before we go there, like I said, let's cover a few of the basic things. So I mean, everything has an impact on your conversion rates, on what you're kind of aiming to do. And so depending on your niche, these are kind of a few of the things you should A, think about, and B, experiment and see what kind of works for you. One of the really key ones, of course, is the voice of the narrator. For this webinar, the voice of the narrator is me, and I'm a British person, so that would work for a British audience. And of course, I think for an American audience, British accents can work, but obviously an American accent, I think, sells itself. So essentially, what you have to think about as you kind of think about who you're going to be using is A, your target audience and your demographic, and who are they going to be relating to. So I mean, if you're looking to target local businesses, then use a local voice, and that will help you, help you sell, help you kind of connect, because it's all about connecting with your customers, connecting with your audience. So one of the really key kind of initial things to think about before you even get started is the voice of the narrator. And going behind the voice of the narrator is how you're what are you saying? So this is, again, looking back and talking about how you're connecting with your audience. So it's using the kind of words, using the kind of talking in the same way that your audience is talking, essentially. This is how you connect with your audience. So it's understanding your audience, it's understanding how they talk, what they're thinking about, and what are the key facts about the product that you're launching, about the services that you're offering, that really get your audience hyped up. And it's about understanding your audience and then creating copy that basically connects with them. A third thing to think about, and this is one of the really important ones actually, because with video, especially online, in actual fact, most people don't open up a video when they go onto a website, created a really nice infographic last week which kind of went over a few of these facts, but 1 in 9 people essentially, when they come to a website, they'll click play, which isn't really a very high percentage. And of course, one of the really, really key things to get them to click play is this video thumbnail. It's kind of the early introduction. It's basically how you grab their attention. It's the same as your headline or your first paragraph within an article if you're going to be writing an article. So that's what your video thumbnail should really be doing. It's kind of attention grabbing. It's making people want to play, to increase that likelihood of them even playing that video to listen to your message, because you really want to drop that figure from 1 in 9 if you can, and you want to do everything you can to kind of help drop that figure and get people who are actually going to your website, you know, to press play and to see the message that you've actually put a lot of time behind creating. And then another really important factor is the length of the video. Now, Wistia, who are a company that does a lot of work with video, and basically they've got a video hosting kind of website, and they did a lot of studies on the videos that their audience users, their customers use essentially, and they found really interesting thing, which is basically, of course, the longer your video goes on for, and this kind of really tells off quite quickly, the higher the drop-off of the people that are watching the video. So I mean, if you're going to keep your video very short, like if you're going to try and connect people with an intro video, for example, then if you can get it to less than 60 seconds or just slightly over 60 seconds, this is actually the optimum kind of amount of time to really retain the maximum amount of users. Now you can carry on increasing it a bit, but the more you increase it up to about 6 minutes, you'll get a kind of steady drop-off as people kind of lose interest. It's quite hard to keep people, of course, watching your video and listening to your message. And then that drop-off kind of stops really from about 9 minutes until about 30-40 minutes. So once you've really got people settled in, if you're looking for the long term for a video, then you can do that basically. But if you're going to be doing it for advertising, then it's really all about short and sweet. It's very bite-sized chunks. And then more importantly, and this is one of the really key things, is basically getting information up front and really getting your audience excited about that video. So it's making a little buzz within that first 10-15 seconds. Again, it's going back to this connecting with your audience. It's really about that kind of like that first paragraph. It's what information are you providing to the audience? What are they going to get excited about? What makes them want to continue to watch? Kind of getting them engaged essentially. And then as soon as you can do this, and you would really want to be doing this from the start and getting them excited, then they'll continue through and they'll watch the whole video all the way through to the end. And these are kind of some of the really basic things that you should be thinking about as you go about creating your video. Now, as we look into marketing your video, and this is something that I want to talk about before we kind of go into having a look at the successful case studies of businesses that have really managed to kind of use video successfully to grow their business. For yourselves, for like small companies, medium-sized companies, and just people looking to promote local services and local products, one of the really important things if you're operating on a kind of low budget with a small audience is kind of how you go about promoting your videos. Now there's some really interesting case studies about this, and part of it is kind of common sense. So for example, of course one of the best places that everyone knows about to promote their videos is YouTube. And there's a really huge focus, and there has been over the last couple of years, on really kind of going to YouTube for YouTube marketing. And there's a direct correlation between uploading your video to YouTube and then your video actually getting ranked for search engines. So if you're kind of looking for a long-term kind of growth and kind of getting new users over time, kind of going for this SEO approach to get connecting with an audience, then YouTube's a really great kind of place to start off for a long-term kind of organic search term kind of way of finding and connecting with an audience. More recently though, if you're looking to connect over social media, then YouTube actually isn't really the best place to go about uploading your video. So actually one of the interesting things very, very recently is this kind of push that Facebook have been having to actually having their own video hosting. So again, if you upload your video to Facebook, for example, instead of uploading your video, or I should say in addition to uploading your video on YouTube, you'll also find that Facebook actually promotes your video a lot better if you're going to be uploading onto their own system. So you actually find that if you've got a really, really popular Facebook page or your business page for your Facebook, and you've got a really big audience, if you actually upload your video to Facebook onto their own servers, and then you kind of launch that onto your local business page, you'll actually find a lot more people will connect, because Facebook's basically saying, oh, you uploaded onto our service, that's great, well, we'll give you more traffic, we'll let you get more engaged. It's kind of a way of promoting their own service, which is exactly the same as Google does for YouTube. So one of the interesting things to really think about if you're going to be going for this internet marketing kind of video approach, essentially, it's kind of not relying solely on YouTube, which is obviously the most famous, but instead kind of branching out and uploading the same video across different channels. For example, uploading onto your Facebook account, onto the Facebook service, and then you'll really see a kind of a different way that the audience gets engaged. You'll get that really real social buzz across Facebook where you're connecting with all your Facebook audience. You upload it as well onto YouTube, you'll get the long-term benefits from kind of SEO and the traffic and ranking and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this is kind of one of the things that's slowly developing, and I think it's just going to continue to do so. It's just the necessity of actually uploading your video across a number of different servers. If you're going to be looking to really connect and promote your product across a number of different, audiences. So these are the few of the facts that relate directly to actually you as you go about creating your video, as you go about or preparing to create your video, as you go about creating your video, as you go about trying to engage an audience with your message. Now let's go a bit forwards and actually have a look and see actually how successful companies have gone about using videos to grow their business. So we'll be looking at a few case studies, and like I said, to break things up a bit as well, what I'd like to also do is kind of show you a few examples as well of kind of videos that have been created by big companies, and you'll be quite happy to actually know that it's not all slick Hollywood kind of like a 5-star production. You've also got some really, really simple video production techniques that really work and really engage an audience. So let's start things off basically, and with the viral teaser. And this is a really, really big thing essentially. If you're just going about preparing for the launch of a product, having a really, really nice teaser to kind of get people interested but not really tell the whole message is a really great way of engaging your audience, of kind of creating this buzz around your product. And there's a number of large companies as well as smaller companies that have managed to do this really well and kind of been really, really successful. Talking about small companies, the person who runs Copyblog actually did a viral teaser for his website called Boost Blog Traffic. Did a very, very kind of, unfortunately I can't find the video, which I'd really, really love to be able to do. But basically he commissioned a $50 video, nice little viral teaser about his website, and used that basically as an opt-in form, used that and connected it with an opt-in form, and then started creating an email list just from the viral teaser before the website was even live. So as a way to kind of generate and kind of create that immediate surge of traffic to his website, and did this really, really successfully, and kind of picked up a couple of thousand people basically onto his email list. And then as soon as the site went live and he pulled the viral teaser and the site went live, he got that immediate kind of surge in traffic essentially. So really, if you're gonna be launching a product, if you're gonna be kind of launching a website, a nice viral teaser is actually a really, really good way to go about it. And that's how you can go about doing it on a smaller level. And on a larger level, the company that really, really nailed this was Mailbox. And I'll quickly show you the video that they actually used to create this buzz. And they really did very, very well, because they created an incredible buzz around the product. So let them take it away in their own words, and then I'll talk after the video is finished. It looks like it's unfortunately the webinar has slowed down the connection. And that was it, a very, very, very simple video. And as a couple of you will probably notice, or might kind of get the idea, the person that actually created Mailbox used to work for Apple, and his kind of the whole advertising, kind of the style of the advertising video is very, very kind of Apple-like. You've got this real focus on the product instead of kind of wishy-washy kind of approach to marketing. It's really kind of incredibly focused on the product, on how to go about using it, and then this kind of got the excitement generated. You know, people kind of see, oh, how you can apply that product. Oh, I can see how this product can be applied. It looks really, really very nice because of the way they presented it, and they got a huge amount of interest. Before the application was even launched, they got a huge amount of interest, and Mailbox is really one of those companies, if you're interested in kind of growth hacking as such, that really, really managed to nail it. They went from, well, within 36 days, they managed to create a company that they sold for a reputed $100 million, which is pretty good for a month's worth of work, I think. So this is one kind of thing that you can go about doing if you're basically preparing to launch a product, is having this kind of viral teaser, and that kind of highlights how you can go about using the product, kind of really product focused, and how your customers can relate to it, how they can go about using it, or if it's a service, how it relates to them, and kind of giving them a little insight, very short, very sweet, very to the point, about what to expect from the product before it's launched. And then getting the word out there to kind of, you know, the movers and shakers within your niche. And that's essentially how you kind of create this viral buzz, is throwing the message out there. It's not just creating your nice video and then hoping it works. It's also doing the back work to actually make sure that it works, make sure that it gets people's attention by placing it in front of them. And then you kind of create this buzz that can get people really excited about your product. And then on to number two, and this is another example from a very, very successful company, and this is the example that I was actually talking about at the start, which is Dropbox, and how it's used a very, very simple explainer video. And you'll be amazed at how simple this explainer video is, because it's actually the kind of video that you could really create out of the box by yourself within about 10-15 minutes. I mean, really, well, maybe 10-15 minutes is an exaggeration, maybe more like an hour or 2 hours, but I mean, very, very simple kind of video. And again, I'll let the video speak for itself, and then we can talk a bit more about about how they went about using it.
You've been there. You're about to buy lunch and realize your wallet is in your other pants. Or maybe you left your keys at home. The problem is organization. You need one place for everything, like a magic pocket. Putting something in the magic pocket means it's always there, no matter what you wear or where you are. The same thing is true for computers. If you have more than one, keeping track of all of your files can be a pain. Solving this problem is one of the big ideas behind Dropbox. It's like a magic pocket, a single, secure place for all of your stuff. Let's meet Josh, who is preparing for a big trip to Africa. Right now, all of his trip info is spread across his laptop, desktop, and phone. He needs to consolidate it all and is tired of having to email files to himself or move them around with a USB drive. Then he found Dropbox, which creates a new kind of folder on his computers. These folders work hard to be exactly alike, even across Macs and PCs. By adding his itinerary to his laptop Dropbox, he can be sure the same file will show up in his desktop Dropbox and even on his phone. The same thing happens when he saves a document in a Dropbox folder. The document gets updated across all of his Dropboxes. But it's not just his computers. The Dropbox website also works to be exactly like his other Dropboxes. Anything he puts in Dropbox is available on the website automatically. This way, if his Jeep takes a dive and his computer is ruined, he can still get to his files on the Dropbox website, where they're always backed up. As it turns out, Josh's Safari was a success, and his laptop made it home with lots of videos and photos to share. Instead of emailing everything, he just shared a Dropbox folder with his mom, so she could get copies of photos she wants to frame. Because it worked so well for travel, Josh made Dropbox the home for all of his stuff, so it's accessible anytime, wherever he goes. Whether you're traveling the world, running a business, or simply organizing your life, Dropbox means you can stop worrying about managing files and backups and get on with your next adventure. You can download Dropbox now at getdropbox.com.
And there you go, yet again. One thing you'll probably notice from both of those videos is kind of the call to action at the end. So both of those videos were very much focused on, the message at the end. You can sign up, and this was both in the mailbox and the Dropbox video. And the other similarity is this real focus on exactly how the product works. And the video that Dropbox basically used was very, very, very simple graphics essentially, but it got the message across, and it was really, really kind of focused on product and how it can benefit. And they went around it by using a person to kind of sell the story or tell the story, which is kind of a nice way to break up a bit that kind of momentum of constantly talking about the product by kind of allowing a person to personify the audience and how they could go about using that product. So both really, really successful, and both kind of having that very, very same kind of focus on the product, basically, on how the product works, on how the product can benefit the audience that they're targeting. And with Dropbox, that video was actually just posted onto a very, very simple kind of their simple homepage, and like I said before, it increased their conversions, and just had that the audience was obviously already interested in Dropbox because they'd arrived on the homepage. So it just had a nice simple explanation about what the product does, and after seeing that explanation, of course it increased the conversion rates, and people thought, oh, I know how I could go about using it, why not sign up? So another really, really successful way about how to use a video in your advertising. And then the most obvious, of course, is having the sales video, which is kind of a mix of explainer video and that kind of viral teaser. And the company that really, really nailed this is, of course, Apple, who are world famous for their very, very slick, very, very nice, and incredibly successul advertising through their videos, through their product videos, and very, very. I mean, apart from the glossy kind of like the 5-star approach to video making, it's incredibly product focused. It's all about, you know, having the iPhone in the center of the screen and looking at the screen resolution and looking at how it works and how you could be using it. Essentially, it's kind of mixing this concept of high-end goods with just what the product does, high-end goods with functionality, essentially. Moving on to the other kind of way you can go about using videos is going into customer testimonials. And like I was actually explaining before in the article that I published last week, there's a really interesting case study. Unfortunately, they didn't back up with too much data from Real SEO, and they were talking about, you know, how much it increased, how much having a customer testimonial and actually a video of a customer testimonial. And we all understand how important it is to have customer testimonials on your sales page, but how a video testimonial really gets people engaged. And actually, should you provide a video testimonial on your site, you get up to like 100 seconds of engagement, extra engagement on your site, basically, from just having that video customer testimonial, because people want to see how good your product was, but not in your own words, because obviously everyone expects the person providing the service to say how great their service is, but in the words, how they found this product useful, because it's all about relating again. And if you can find customer testimonials that relate to your, and they should, of course, because they should be customers, but they really relate to the key kind of demographic that your other customers can relate to, then you get a really successful testimonial that will help conversions, essentially, because it's all about kind of building up this perception of trust / relatability. Like how can you as a person that's interested in buying a product relate to the person who's talking about how they bought the product? The more you can relate to that person, the more likely you are to kind of buy that product, because you can see how it will be useful for yourself. And then looking again, if you're going to be basically using video as a kind of huge part of your marketing, like content marketing scheme, is this kind of call to action within videos. And there's a lot of, I mean, this is pretty common nowadays, but it's still a very successful way to go about building up your email list and kind of increasing your engagement. It's having those call to actions within the video, and you kind of saw that very simply in within the Dropbox and within the mailbox kind of videos. This call to action at the end, where both of them, I mean, typed out on the screen essentially, so you could actually see the call to action. Instead of an audio call to action, it was basically you could see it. So having this call to action is really obviously important, and it's making people want to do whatever action you're looking to do, looking for them to take. And the simple way is to obviously have this at the end of your video, but more and more people are kind of integrating this, especially within the content marketing strategy. You know, if you're going to be watching my video, 2 minutes into my video, it's going to have a stop, and then sign up to continue watching the video. So essentially your first 2 minutes is a teaser into continuing to watch the whole thing. And one internet marketer who does this a lot is someone called Matthew Woodward, and he does a lot of product reviews, and then within the product reviews, well, actually within the kind of how-to videos, he'll have this, you know, how-to, and then 2 minutes in, stop. And obviously people want to learn more about how the product works, so they're willing to kind of input email list, their email address, or whatever that call to action asks for. They're more likely to do, because it's related to their desire to continue watching the video. Really good way to go about doing it. And if you're thinking about using call to actions, then you should really kind of focus on the analytics behind it as well. So look at your conversion rates and stuff, see what works. And Wisty is a nice service if you're kind of looking at the analytics about how to go about using call to actions. You can kind of see your engagement and when your visitors are dropping off, when they're most engaged, and kind of relate that to when you're putting call to actions in. So that's kind of a quick roundup of a few of the different ways and a few of the case studies, basically about how to go about using video within your marketing efforts, and kind of rolling all back in together again at the end. One of the things I'm really starting to notice across a lot of different blogs, especially marketing blogs, is this kind of real focus, instead of just just doing writing text, it's kind of diversifying how you go about producing information, because this is really how you increase your market share, essentially. So it's using video. It's also using audio, which you'll see a lot more across a lot of the leading blogs, and I think this will really trickle down across a lot more blogs. Having audio basically within your blog post, so you can either read the post or you can listen to the post, for example. It's the use of podcasts, which is obviously increasing as well, and like I said before, the use of videos. So it's really, if you're looking to kind of increase your market share on the internet, it's diversifying the way you go about connecting with people. It's not just using, writing up an article. It's also producing a nice slideshare. It's also producing a nice video. It's also doing webinars. It's engaging your audience in multiple ways, essentially. So I hope that's a nice wrap up about how to go about using video within your marketing strategies. What I'd like to do now is kind of link it back in and show you how to actually go about using Youzone within your marketing efforts, because like I was saying before, one of the really important things is basically like that first visual image that you have before you even press play, and this kind of importance of dropping from 1 in 9 to maybe 1 in 8 or 1 in 7 of people who are actually listening to your message. So yeah, let's get started, and I'll quickly jump across. So I've got Youzone open here, and what I'll do is I'll create a nice simple video cover, essentially using Youzone, and that's what I shall start doing right now. So let's get started with a nice pattern background, essentially. One of the things, if you haven't used Youzone before, actually, is we really focused on kind of increasingly adding more and more new features to the software. So we're continually developing the software. One of the nice features that we've got at the moment, and let's go from dark to light, is this kind of gradient feature. So you can add a gradient background, essentially. And then one of the really nice features as well, which we've just integrated, talking about nice features, is something quite special. So I'll be showing you that in a short second. Let me. I think. So before we've also got Pixabay, so we've integrated with Pixabay. So we've got this, essentially, and this basically means that you can grab any copyright-free images from Pixabay, and we've linked up to the Pixabay API. So now you can grab high-definition images from Pixabay, and you can throw those straight into whatever kind of graphics you're editing. And this is the kind of exciting thing that I want to talk about today. And I want to show you today is one of the new features that we've actually got is the ability to actually edit all of these images as well within Youzone. And by edit I mean actually do some really nice cropping, and I'm going to be doing this very, very quickly, but this is one of the most recent features that we've actually integrated within Youzone, is the ability to actually crop by shape. So you can, what I'm doing now actually is kind of doing very, very rough outline, and I'm doing this as I'm online doing this webinar, so it is going to be a bit rough, but I think by the end you'll have the idea of what I'm doing. It's kind of quickly outlining this shape, and what we'll be doing is actually cropping this image So everything that's green will be kept, and then very, very shortly, and as you can see, I'm kind of haphazardly trying to cover that cat in green. And so what I'm doing is basically highlighting the areas that I want to keep, and what I'm trying to focus on is this reel, essentially. And so I'll just very, very quickly highlight all of this. And of course, if you're doing this for yourself, you'd be able to be a lot more careful than I'm being now. But I think you can kind of get an idea of what this is going to kind of offer you in terms of functionality. And there you go. So you can kind of see it kicking in there. You've got all of that yellow lines, and the lines are essentially cropping around the image. So right now I'm basically just cropping out all of the white areas that I don't want, so I can really focus on other part of the image that I'd like to have. And of course I could kind of zoom in and I can make this really, really tidy, and I'd like to do that. But I'm not. I'm currently not doing that because I'm going to try and be a bit quick about this. And so it's very rough around the edges. But if you're going to be doing this properly for yourself, as I'm sure you can imagine, you're definitely not going to be rough around the edges, and you can get some really, really great results, which I'm almost getting, kind of getting some of the basic results. As you can kind of see on the right-hand side, this is basically, on the left is the work that I'm actually doing, on the right-hand side is what the software is actually kind of doing for me, and you can see from there that basically the software is kind of cropping out all of the areas that I've highlighted in red and kind of cropping everything else out of the image. And this is live. It's very quick, and I mean, we're on the web now at the moment, so actually it's a lot quicker. If there's not 50, 60 people joining me on this webinar, then of course the software is a lot faster than it currently is. But it's a really, really neat feature, and this is something we've just integrated actually into Youzone. It's something that I've been playing around with today and getting quite excited about. And there you go, as you can see there. Oh, it's gonna be coming. There you go, loading. You can actually crop, so not only can you grab any image online from wherever you want to be grabbing your image, well, not only can you grab all your copyright-free images within Youzone, you can now also crop any of those images as well within the software. So there you go. That's something that I've been experimenting with, and you can kind of see the kind of results you'd be able to get should you end up going about kind of cropping these images. And let's go on to some slightly more simple things now. There you go. But yeah, it's a really, really nice feature basically. So we're really working and really pushing on integrating lots and lots of new features into Youzone to give it a lot of functionality. And this is really based on a mixture of the feedback that we're kind of getting from all of our customers who are kind of getting excited about Youzone as well. So we're kind of integrating new features partly based on what we're kind of hearing and what people would like to see. And so if you decide to get access to Youzone, which is actually also free at the moment. So if you want to free for the first month, so if you want to go about playing with Youzone, you can actually sign up free for the first month, and you can start playing around with some of these nifty features for yourself and kind of testing it out. But as a graphics designer, if you're kind of if you've got a lot of interest in graphics design, if you want to go about creating lots and lots of different kind of graphics using very versatile graphic software, then Youzone's really, really neat. And like I said, we've got lots and lots of different features that are kind of being continually integrated within the software. And this is kind of where we're at the moment. And the newest feature, the one that I'm most excited about, is that cropping kind of feature. And like I was saying, if you've got more time, if you're a lot kind of finer approach to that cropping, which mine was a bit haphazard, then you can get some really, really great results. So moving on from that, let's grab some text. And of course, there's lots of different text available, different fonts available that you can use. And so I've decided to use this chunk 5, which is quite a name for a font. So yeah, I'm using chunk 5 text, and you can bold, you can underline, you can do all the kinds of things that you'd expect to be able to do with a piece of graphic software. We've got all the kind of functionality there for you, and we've got the ability to, and this is quite a neat feature which I've kind of only just really started to play with as well, is the ability to just grab kind of colors, just doing it that way basically. So you can, it's very easy to copy and grab colors from anywhere on the screen. This is kind of one of the things that you can go about doing. And actually, another thing that a new marketing lesson that I learned very recently, and I'll give you a very quick example, is actually the importance of, and you wouldn't really think it, but actually having handwritten text within your body, within your copy, basically. And so if you've got a website, and I'm sure everyone's got a website, or everyone in this audience has got a website, actually you can use handwritten text as a way to really grab people's attention, and it really works essentially. Which is something for me a bit unexpected. I didn't really think that actually handwriting would be so effective as a way of grabbing people's attention. Maybe that's because my handwriting is terrible, but it seems that actually using handwritten text to kind of, as a marketer, to grab people's attention is really, really effective strategy essentially. I'm not sure why that. Let's go choose a different font. So yeah, handwritten text basically is very effective if you're going to be playing around with your website, if you're going to be kind of doing different things to kind of try and increase your engagement with your users, then yeah, it's one of the interesting lessons I learned this week, because every day you should be learning something new, and that was what I learned this week, was basically the importance of handwriting as a way of grabbing people's attention. Used selectively, of course. You don't want to turn your whole article or text into handwriting, otherwise it's probably going to go horribly wrong. But used selectively, it's a really great way to grab people's attention. So if you're going to be using it for a call to action, for example, or use just above a call to action, it's a nice way of just grabbing people's attention and saying like, hey, this is something that you should be focusing on, and it works because people are so used to kind of seeing, the songs and all the other kinds of classic typeface, that as soon as you put in some handwritten kind of handwritten fonts, then people pay attention. So yeah, there you go. And like I said, one of the things I was most excited to actually kind of go about showing you today was this this really neat kind of cropping feature, basically, that we have just integrated within Youzone. And yeah, it's one of the features I'm really excited about. And of course, in addition to video, you've got this whole range of kind of different things that you can go about creating for Youzone. And like I was saying before, this kind of importance of not only focusing on kind of one medium, but using lots and lots of different mediums. So you've kind of got the video, you've got the Kindle, you've got the Twitter for social media, of course, YouTube, and infographics, which are really kind of great way of connecting. And I was actually, as an aside, I've been using infographics quite a lot as part of my own social media kind of strategy, and it's been working really well as a really great way to actually engage your audience and to kind of spread the word about your product. And so that's what I was looking to cover today, basically. So I hope that gave you a very nice overview of kind of what you can do with video, and gave you maybe some interesting insights into how to go about using video within your own marketing kind of techniques, or within your own marketing efforts. And yeah, some nice case studies, and also I think some kind of new information as well. Or maybe for some of you that would be new information about kind of this importance of not only using YouTube, but also kind of looking at Facebook and uploading onto Facebook's own servers as well, as a way to really get your audience engaged. And rolling that all back into kind of the importance of nice graphics in order to grab people's attention, and this kind of some of the really neat stuff that we're actually doing with Youzone, and the fact that you can actually today grab it for free for your month free trial. If you go onto the homepage of Youzone, you can actually sign up and test that software and use some of those neat features that I was kind of using. And I think at this stage what we can do is we can open things up, and I think Magnus has probably been grabbing your questions actually as this thing's been going on, and I'd like to just hand it over to him, and he can he's been collecting those questions, and of course if you've got any questions at this stage, I think you should throw them into the ring, and I'll hand it over to Magnus, and he can start answering some of the questions that you might have regarding this webinar we've just been doing. Let's see if Magnus is online. Magnus, are you there?
Hello, Nico. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay. Hi, guys. My name is Magnus Ilechuku. I'm the campaign manager at YMB Properties. Thanks for making out time to attend this webinar today. We do appreciate your time and hope you've learned one or two things about the video marketing so far that Nico has explained, a couple things. And those wonderful case studies, I hope you learned one or two things from the Dropbox video marketing strategies and all those stuffs. So one thing is actually to learn the tips, and the most important thing is to implement what you've learned. So which is the actual thing that will bring you the results you desire. So when you pick up new strategies like this, you make sure to implement them and then to make it part of your business, and then see some improvements in the results you get. So in the next couple of minutes, very quickly, I will go through the questions I have here in the chat box. And please, if you have further questions, use the chat box by the right of your screen. I haven't got much questions so far, so I'm still expecting some questions. And maybe that is an indication that everybody is happy with what we've taught today, and Maybe we all understand that. But if there's any place you are worried or you have concerns or you're not clear about any strategy or any tool to use anywhere, Nico is still online and I'm here. You can just ask us or anything about Youzign. So quickly, the first question I have here, someone is asking whether the webinar is being recorded. And yes, we've made sure to record every of the webinars we do since we switched over to GoToWebinar. And this webinar will be rendered and mailed out within the next 24 hours. So expect my mail by this time tomorrow, and it will contain a link to our blog where the webinar will be posted. And if you missed anything so far in the way Nico created his graphics and all the things we mentioned in the webinar so far, you can gradually go through the recording and then pick some things up too. And the second question here, sorry, give me a bit of time about that. Second question was asking after the background removal to whether it is a new feature in Youzign. And yes, the background removal tool is actually a new feature we integrated in Youzign. I think we pushed that last Tuesday, and Bertrand did record a very detailed demo video of the background removal tool. And like you've seen now, when Nico used it, it is pretty much easy to use, and everybody can actually use that. And those guys we have in our beta Facebook group so far, most of them have gone through the background removal tool, and even the new guys, and everybody is saying some pretty much awesome stuffs about it. It is very, very easy, and I think it is simple and easy, and even simpler than Photoshop's background removal tool, if I'm not mistaken. And one thing else I want to go through now is what we introduced today in Youzign. We just introduced a free 30-day trial at Youzign. So if you're still on the fence to join us at the Youzign beta, this is your opportunity to start using Youzign without paying anything upfront. So we actually went through this last week, and we were like, most guys are still on the fence about joining the Youzign beta. Maybe they're waiting to see if Youzign is going to be a good competitor to Photoshop, like I mentioned earlier on. And then we tried to remove the upfront payment, which has been discounted right now to $39.99. And now you can still sign up to Youzign beta by just paying nothing at the moment. So I'm just going to grab the screen from Nico at this moment and go through the ways to sign up. Okay, Bob is asking whether the webinar is going to be in the trainings where we can learn more on continuous basis. Yes, Bob, I think on the long run, we're going to make all the webinars we've recorded available on a training database for Youzign, where you guys can go through it and maybe pick a couple of things that you've forgotten or maybe you want to refer to. But let me also mention quickly that when Youzign goes public, we are going to be recording a full detailed tutorial, video tutorials for Youzign, and I think that would be much more appropriate because it will be very much detailed, maybe silent videos or something that will show you what every button in Youzign does. So very quickly, I wanted to show you how you can sign up to the Youzign beta without paying anything today. So I'm just logged in Youzign now. I'm just going to log out. So if you go to the home page, I put that in the chat box by the right of your screen right now. If you click on that, you will come to this home page. And on this page, you will see a demo of the newly integrated Youzign feature here. Sorry, my browser is just hanging up. Okay. Newly integrated. This is a video of the newly integrated background removal feature in Youzign. And if you click on this try for free button down here below this video, it will take you to a page where you can fill up your information and sign up to start using Youzign. So on this page, you will see that your first payment is actually $0. So we are not charging you for the first 30 days, for the first 1 month, and after that you're going to be billed $9.99 going forward. So for the first 30 days, let's say if you sign up today, you're going to pay nothing until on the 13th of next month. That's when you're going to be billed again. So this is a really good alternative if you're not comfortable committing $39.99 for a one-time off payment to start using Youzone better. But if you still prefer that option, simply go to ynbproperties.com Youzone better, and you will go to that will redirect you to the Warrior Forum page where we have the Youzone better one-off payment offer stay up. And like you guys already know, we have this at $47 before, but earlier this week, I think from Tuesday this week, we got a couple emails from guys requesting that we discount it, since we discounted it for guys that came in from the Mascotly launch that we did a couple days ago. So we discounted that down to $39.99, so which is about, I think, $8 or $9 discount so far. And this will give you complete unlimited access to Youzone for the lifetime of Youzone. Youzone is going to be available as much as YMB Properties is available. So for only $39.99, you're going to be using Youzone for as long as YMB Properties is in existence. And we are not going out of business anytime soon. We are here to stay, and we've been here for over 2 years. Please forgive my browser, just getting hanged up before. So these are the two options we have available for you guys today. Is either you sign up using the 30 days free trial option if you're not ready to get committed for $39.99, or you use this option and then commit $39.99 for a lifetime access to Youzone. Even when we go public, you won't be charged any dime later on. And just to mention that when we do go public, Youzone will be costing around $19.99 a month. So still at $9.99, you're still getting a very huge discount of Youzone better. So if you choose to use the 30 days trial, so it is still discounted now, and you will get it at $39.99. Or you use this option and go for $0 this month and $9.99 from next month going forward. So I still have a couple more questions here. Let me go through that. Mark is asking, are Youzone software versions automatically updated when a user logs on the internet? I go through my JVZoo account and yesterday I had a drop-down box. Okay, yes, Youzone software versions. Now, one thing you should understand is that Youzone is an online-based application. So once we make any update on the Youzone database, we push it out to the online version, and wherever you are, whether on your mobile phone, on your Mac, or on your PC, you will have access, unlimited access to the latest version of Youzone. So whenever you log into your Youzone database to start creating your designs, you are automatically using the latest version of Youzone. So you don't need to worry about that. Still Mark is asking, thanks for your regular webinars. I learned through your demonstrations. Please add more icons for educators. Okay, Mark, thank you very much. We are going to be talking with our designer, John, who will be going in through creating more icons, and I will make sure that educational icons are among the next set of icons we are going to push into Youzone. Jason is asking, I learned of Youzone through Mascotly, which I had already purchased, but I didn't receive a discount that other Mascotly users received. Jason, I'm so sorry about that. Maybe the day you got the email, the discount that we are giving out to Mascotly customers has expired, and right now that you are already a member using Youzone beta, if you can comment in the Youzone Facebook group and maybe tag me in it, I will get in touch and see how maybe I can compensate that. I really I really appreciate that you are here also in the webinar, the live webinar, and I promise I will make it up to you. I'm really sorry that you missed out on the discount we gave to Mascotly customers. That is all the questions I have here at the moment. So guys, today's webinar has been really very interesting as Nico went through all the tips that you need to make your video marketing very effective. And I really love that video graphics he created towards the end with Youzign. And I think if you place such graphics on your videos, there is no reason it won't grab the attention of viewers within the first 2 seconds, which is actually when you have to grab the attention of your user before they lose interest. So Youzign is getting really very interesting, and we are getting to the point where we will say that this is becoming one of the number one options for creating graphics for any kind of purpose line. And very soon we are going to be pushing a couple more updates, like the sharing feature, which Bertrand tested a few days ago. We are going to be perfecting that. We received a couple suggestions from the Facebook group about how our users would like to share their created designs, and we are going to be working on that maybe next week, and then trying to come up with a better option to refine that and make sure that everybody loves it. And we still have a couple more updates and features to push out to Youzign before we go public. And you guys that are already in the Youzign beta Facebook group, and those that are already using Youzign at this stage, I will say a huge congratulations to you guys for securing access to this great piece of tool. And if you do have any questions or concerns even after this webinar, you can still use the Facebook group, and make sure to tag me or anyone working at Youzign there, and we'll make sure to get back to you as soon as possible. And here is another question from Jason. Okay, Jason, thank you very much about that. Here he actually requested I don't address that. Can you give us a link to the Facebook group? Oh yes, I can do that. Let me grab that in a second. I think we have that here somewhere here on this page. Give me a second. The Facebook group is actually getting very interesting. We have guys creating several designs with Youzign and then posting it there. We have a competition going on at the moment on the Facebook group where the most the winning design from Youzign wins all of our other products. So that is a very nice competition going on now on the Facebook group, and believe me, you can't believe the designs that are coming out there. I looked at one this morning on the Youzign database and the community database, and is very nice. I couldn't believe that was created from Youzign. You know, some guys actually have good artistic sense, you know. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that. I'm going to grab the link to the Facebook group in a second, and paste it right there in the group. Please give me a second. I'm not logged in here like that. Sorry guys. Where is my personal account? Okay. So like I was saying, Youzign is getting really interesting, and we are pushing a lot of features at the moment, and we are going to be making it a very good, strong. You can see this is one of the features we are pushing out. If you are in the Facebook beta group, that place is really, do try to visit once in a while, as it is really getting really interesting in there. So I'm just going to paste this URL by the right. If you look by the right of your screen now, you would see you will see where I just pasted the URL, and you can follow that URL to join the Youzign Facebook group, and then partake in and see what the suggestions that our current beta users are recommending, and how we are pushing that into Youzign to make Youzign a reality. We are not only creating Youzign based on what we want it to be, we are trying to perfect it with all the suggestions we are getting in the Facebook group, and then to make sure that it is a product that actually fits the needs of our customers and not just ours. And I have Brad here asking, if we pay the $27 fee to get in on the ground floor, will we not have any monthly fees, right? Okay, yes, Brad. If you got in early at $27, that means you are one of the first guys that got into Youzign beta. And believe me, you're not going to be charged any more money going forward. You just secured complete unlimited access to Youzign for $27 for lifetime. So that is how sweet this is, and that is why it is very nice that you get in now if you're still on the fence to start using Youzign, because the price keeps increasing every day. All right, Brad, I apologize for that. Bradley, sorry. Is there an affiliate program associated with Youzign? Mark, yes, when we go public, in a couple of weeks, we are going to be introducing a sort of affiliate program for Youzign, and then we will try to update the Facebook group so that anybody who is interested in promoting Youzign can get on board. So if we go public, we'll make the announcement on the Facebook group and via email, and I will leave my contact there so that anybody that is interested can just get in touch, and I will hook you up with a page and all the promo materials you will need to make a killing with Youzign. And that is all the questions I have here, Nico. I think it's been a very interesting webinar so far, and just to mention it again, this webinar is being recorded and it will be rendered, uploaded, and mailed out to you guys within the next 24 hours. And thanks everybody for attending. Bradley, Mark, Bob, and everybody who has stayed up to this end. We have quite over 50 guys on board, and we do appreciate all your time. And we say a very huge thanks for all your support for the YMB Properties brand. And we do appreciate your support also for Youzign and all the suggestions you're making on the Facebook group, which has been the reason we keep getting Youzign to a better stage every time. So thanks to you guys, and I'm going to pass this back to Nico in a short while. So Nick,
I think we should probably wrap this up now. So thanks everyone for participating and joining tonight. It's been really, really great. I hope you've learned some stuff and taken away something from this webinar. We'll be hosting another webinar next week, so I hope everyone has a great weekend, really enjoys their day or their evening, depending on whereabouts you are. And that's about it. It's from me and Magnus.
All right, thank you, Nick. All right, guys. Thank you guys for attending, and then see you next week when we host another Youzign webinar. Bye.